Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm doing some defensive shooting drills today. Experimenting with some new equipment, just trying to figure it out. It may not look pretty, but hey, this is what you gotta do to kind of, work through the bugs. So I've got a new inside the waistband holster here, and I'm using a polymer 80. And for one thing, it's just a struggle learning how to get this thing back in the holster because it's not the same. It's not the same size and it doesn't land exactly the same position as my other holster that I normally carry. So that's taking a little bit of practice just to learn how to reholster that. Gun's not loaded now. I'm just working with an unloaded gun. The other thing is I've changed the holster, right? Well, I've added this new holster. I'm working with this P80. I've changed the front sight on this, right? So before I had the fiber optic sights on this, and now I have the Ameriglow sights. I'm finding I do like these better. That yellow seems a little bit brighter, and also it's a lower 1/3 coat witness. The fiber optics that I had before, they were an absolute coat witness, and sometimes I found that they were just a little bit in the way. Now, the technique that I'm working with, I'm trying to practice with, and trying to figure out if this is the best way to do it. Because here's the thing. Red dots on pistols have not been around for all that long. There's nobody out there that can tell you that, hey, they've been shooting red dots on pistols for like the last 20 years, and they've been in hundreds of gunfights, and they know the way to do it. The technology has not been around that long, so we're still trying to figure out this stuff, and the only way to figure it out is just to do it a lot. All right, so the technique that I'm using, right? When I come out of the holster, I'm coming up, okay? I see my target over there, right? As I come up, at some point right about here, I'm picking up that yellow dot, right? In my lower peripheral vision, right? I'm picking that up and I'm guiding that yellow dot to my target, okay? And at some point, I see the 32 MOA circle dot, okay? And once I see that 32 MOA circle dot, I focus all my attention to that circle dot, which is now on the target, because that's the great thing about the red dots, right? That kind of, from your perception, it appears to be holographic. It appears to be on the target. When you're using the front sight, the front sight is basically you got to focus on the gun. The problem is that if you're focusing on the front sight, you're not really focusing on your target, and the thing is that that's not a natural thing to do if you're in a situation where you're scared, right? In a situation where you're scared, you're going to focus on the target. It's really hard for you to bring your focus back to the front sight. So that's why I think that having a front sight post and a circle dot on the pistol, on a defensive pistol, is going to work really well together. It's just, like I said, we're trying to figure out the best way to utilize these things. And at this point, it's experimental. So I'm practicing. I see my threat come out. Okay, I come up at this point, I see my yellow dot, I bring that to the target, boom, I just found my circle dot. Now I'm focusing on the circle dot, which is projecting on the target. So what I want to do now is, with the gun still empty, I'm going to just practice moving, drawing, and presenting, okay? And I'm doing this in a dynamic fashion where I'm doing it like fast, on the move, trying to figure out if this is what's really going to work best for me. So I'm moving. Boom. There you go. Got it. So I think that's what you gotta do in order to figure out how this is gonna work best for you. All right, do it one more time and then I'll go live. Slap the gun open. Obviously, it's a little bit cumbersome reholstering with the jacket on, but again, realistic situation. Today's a little bit more chilly. It had warmed up a little bit the last week or so, but all of a sudden the temperature dropped. So let's work through this drill. Now that time, I had a real hard time finding that circle dot. And the reason is I did not pick up that yellow dot on the way in. Okay, so the other times where I found the yellow dot, the previous times I had found that yellow dot over there, and I was able to guide the circle dot to the target. That time I failed to do so. So it ended up being slower because since I didn't find that, I was fishing around for that red dot. It took forever to find it. So at the moment, it appears that that seems to be the best technique, especially in a dynamic situation where you're moving, trying to get out of the way, trying to get the cover, that sort of stuff. Yeah, so that time, I made a conscious effort at this point right there to pick up that dot and drive that to the target. And I was able to find the 32 MOA circle dot a lot easier. So I'm noticing that a lot of my shots are going just below that bullseye. So kind of when I'm firing, pulling the gun down a little bit. So that's something I gotta practice with. That's good. You gotta do this stuff to figure out what you gotta practice on. So, but hey, I mean, I'm getting plenty of hits on paper, just a little bit lower than I want them to be. So I hope you guys found this information useful. And like I said, this is this is a working process. This is like still in the experimental phases. There's nobody out there that can tell you that they know the best way to shoot red dots on pistols and all sorts of different scenarios, just because the technology hasn't been around that long. And if you consider, like even in combat conditions, they're normally not using pistols, right? They're using rifles with red dots. So it'll probably take a little bit longer because of that to work out some of the bugs, figure out exactly what is the best technique, what are the best methods to use to get your bullets to go where they want to go. So if you guys aren't a member of the channel, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon.